Welcome to Beyond the Trailer's coverage of the 2015 Academy Awards, giving you an in-depth look at the top categories. And of course, you're also invited to vote in Beyond the Trailer's annual Oscar poll for who you think deserves to win. Right now, we turn our attention to one category that is, unfortunately, pretty hard to fill almost every year. And in fact, this year the pickings are so slim there isn't even any real contest, as Julianne Moore is expected to win the gold hands down. But that doesn't mean these nominations don't mean anything, so let's take a look at whose careers have just gotten a major boost.
Marion Cotillard, 2 Days, 1 Night.
Man, this nomination is perfect timing for Marion Cotillard, as the momentum from her last nomination and win 7 years ago for La Vie en Rose was just beginning to peter out. Yes, after her win in 2008, Cotillard became a hot Hollywood commodity, appearing in Michael Mann's Public Enemies, Rob Marshall's 9, Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris, Steven Soderbergh's Contagion, and perhaps most famously, Christopher Nolan's Inception and The Dark Knight Rises. To Cotillard's credit, though, she still kept one foot in the world of indie and foreign film, perhaps because you'll notice she didn't have a lead role in any of those big Hollywood movies. Yet the big Hollywood offers seem to be farther and fewer between these days, largely because mainstream audiences don't seem to have sparked to her. Now, a strong career needs to balance out the box office hits with the critical hits, while a lucky few can manage both simultaneously. So with this nomination, Cotillard is reminding Hollywood how strong she is in the critical category, and trying to leverage that for a role in a big Hollywood blockbuster which could use said credibility. And it's already worked! With this nomination in the bag, Cotillard has just signed on to play what could be a multi-movie role in Michael Fassbender's Assassin's Creed movie. Sure, it reunites her with Fassbender and director Justin Kurzel, who are all involved in a new adaptation of Macbeth, and isn't Cotillard just a great actress that any production would be lucky to have, period? Yeah, yet Kurzel signed on to Assassin's Creed last spring.
Felicity Jones, The Theory of Everything.
So think of Felicity Jones as a junior Marion Cotillard. While comedy is quickly becoming an even playing field at this point gender-wise, there's still a considerable lack of established dramatic female talent in Hollywood, both in terms of actresses that are pretty much guaranteed good reviews and those that can sell movie tickets. Jennifer Lawrence can't play every role. And since Hollywood craves some kind of stamp of approval instead of discovering new talent, Oscar nominations will have to do. So while Cotillard joins video game adaptation Assassin's Creed, Felicity Jones has just landed one of the lead roles in the first Star Wars spin-off movie. That's a step up from her non-role in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, potentially playing Black Cat, which she landed because of her turn in Like Crazy, which earned her plenty of awards nominations, but not an Oscar nomination. Perhaps if it had, she'd have had some lines in Spidey too. Jones is very good in The Theory of Everything, playing the yin to Stephen Hawking's yang, but she's hardly given as challenging a role as co-star Redmayne. Yep, this is the kind of category where you're rewarded for not being overshadowed in a film, rather than for casting your own shadow.
Julianne Moore, Still Alice.
And when you get right down to it, perhaps that's why Julianne Moore has such a lock in this category. She's not only the lead of her film, where she's able to portray both the professional and personal life of a successful modern-day woman, but she's the one who gets to actually deal with the disease, rather than react to a male character's suffering. But there's more at work here than just her performance. This is Moore's 5th Oscar nomination, and she has never won, while 2 of her fellow nominees already have. Wouldn't the Academy rather make her another Streep than Lucci? And at the end of the day, even Lucci finally won. This would also be an opportunity for Academy voters to check the box next to Moore, so to speak, making sure that one of the finest and most prolific actresses of her generation is appropriately honored. It is kind of embarrassing when legends slip through the cracks. The only potential hiccup is that Seventh Son is playing in theaters right now, and some whisper could have the Norbit effect, where voters say, "Hell no, I'm not giving an Oscar to that." But while Eddie Murphy had more Norbits than Dreamgirls on his resume, Seventh Son is definitely a rarity on Moore's resume. Heck, if you're going to focus on one of her rare paycheck gigs, focus on her role in the highest-grossing film of the year domestically.
Rosamund Pike, Gone Girl.
Now, I'm sure many of you are thinking, wait a minute, Rosamund Pike's role in Gone Girl is just as unique and strong as Julianne Moore's in Still Alice, maybe even more so. And you're right. which is exactly the point. The Academy is pretty old-fashioned, so even to nominate Pike's work is a big step. Academy voters haven't recognized a role this salacious and mainstream since Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction way back in 1988, and even Close didn't win. Yes, Gone Girl was a mainstream hit, a modern-day Hitchcock if you will, and he never won an Oscar either. Instead, he got an honorary one in 1968. But Pike doesn't need to win either, as this nomination alone is huge for her. After making a big splash in Die Another Day back in 2002, Pike has been working steadily with a mix of big roles in small films and small roles in big films, and sometimes even moderate roles in moderate films. Yet very few moviegoers could tell you her name even if they do recognize her face. Well, Amy Dunn is a role and a performance that simply can't be ignored, even by the Academy. Or can it? Pike won't win here, and the Gone Girl team of David Fincher, Gillian Flynn, and Ben Affleck are re-teaming to remake Hitchcock's Strangers on a Train without her. Plus, while she has been pregnant with her second child, born just in December, she really ought to decide on her next film before her agent's phone stops ringing. Just ask Cotillard and Jones. You gotta grab that next role before they don't read your name on Oscar night.
Reese Witherspoon, Wild.
Just like with Cotillard, the importance of this nomination is to remind Hollywood that Reese Witherspoon has still got it. She was nominated and won for Walk the Line back in 2006, the culmination of her meteoric rise, which began with her breakout role in Legally Blonde. But little did Witherspoon know that she was peaking, as she found herself starring in a string of box office flops for the next few years. In fact, she still hasn't been able to climb out of her box office slump. So again, like Cotillard, at least she can still hang on to her artistic reputation with this nomination. But one thing that is different this time around, and from Cotillard, is that this nomination also helps give Witherspoon some credibility as a producer. Wild actually has 2 Oscar nominations, also Laura Dern for Best Supporting Actress, plus what's more, Witherspoon produced Gone Girl, for which Pike is nominated. So while Witherspoon isn't going to win this year as an actress, it is perhaps the year Hollywood starts taking her seriously as a producer who can get a film into the end zone, both in terms of the box office with Gone Girl and awards season. And those are the Best Actress nominees. Do you agree Julianne Moore should definitely win? If not, be sure to express your opinion in Beyond the Trailer's annual Oscar poll via the link in the video description. I'm Grace Randolph, and I hope you'll check out the rest of BTT's Oscar coverage right now.